This music has been in my head for as long as I can remember. It's ironic that it took nearly dying to convince myself to do it. What I want to do is make the music that came into my head when I first heard a Delta blues record or a Memphis record. That's the sound I want. After 20 years of gigging and 20 odd albums, I finally reached the point where I'm ready to make it. But to be honest, I don't know if I can do it. I might just have given myself enough rope to hang myself with on this one.
Chris Rea was a late starter. He was already 22 when he picked up a guitar for the first time. In a room above his parents' ice cream business in Middlesbrough, he started out by copying phrases from his favourite blues records. The road to success was a relatively short one, and he went on to sell more than 20 million records around the world. But in the summer of 2000, with a remix of one of his biggest hits, On the Beach, high in the charts, and a sold-out tour of Europe about to begin, everything changed. He was told that he was suffering from an illness that would almost certainly end his career, and probably take his life. After a series of lengthy operations, it was while he was lying in a hospital bed that he made up his mind. When he returned to music, it would be the music that he'd intended to make all along, and that he hoped, finally, to be judged by.
Heading for the city. It's basically 4 parts. The first part is Debussy. Well, first Miles Davis. And then into the Debussy bit. It's very important to have high caliber musicians on a project like this, because we're trying to get a sound that only comes when people play together. You can't rely on computers for this music. Can you hear me, Martin? Yeah. So you come in with the hi-hat there. Okay. Once we've done that, you and I for now will just hint at John Lee Hooker. Give us a bit high up, man. And be all my friends packing up, loading up the Volvos and over the last 15-20 years I've been making music that to the loyal Chris Rea fans was only an aroma of what they see me do live, and the more bluesy side, the more gospel overtones in the singing, which very often get ironed out of the compromise of production over the years with producers, record companies, etc. One, two, three, four. And I thought, well, if I get through this, I'm going to write the album that I want to go on my headstone, if you like, should something terrible happen.
Is out here a good place to rehearse?
It's okay for getting the suntan, but also you test the strength of the arrangement this way, which is good. it's got to work at this level. If it doesn't work at this level, there's something wrong with it. Got to be moving, moving, moving on, yeah. Well, I think we should go in the studio and try it.
Millions of people can sing Fool If You Think It's Over, but only one man knows how it was supposed to sound.
Fool never turned out to be the way I intended it to be. I'd always seen it as a Memphis song. The trouble with Fool was that it was made a hit record so quickly. I never had a chance to voice my opinion about what I thought about the production. And I think it still would have been a hit because it is a hit song. But I'd always heard it far more Memphis-y. I've still got a piece of paper at home that I found recently that was the original lyrics for Fool If You Think It's Over, and on the top of this piece of paper it says, Fool If You Think It's Over, song for Al Green, 90 beats per minute, Al Jackson drums. When I heard Charlie Patton, I didn't know it was him, I didn't know who he was. I just heard this record coming across on the radio. Just that sound that afternoon. Just thinking, that's exactly how he's singing, is exactly how I feel. When I decided that my heroes weren't rock stars, were actual musicians and writers of music, I did, unbeknown to myself at the time, give myself a large ball and chain. Little bit higher.
The ball and chain on this occasion is the difficulty of using modern studio equipment to reproduce the homespun, handmade blues sound that he's after.
So now it'll be Harmony Girls. Lord help the sinners. Lord please show what I listen. You cannot go back in time. You cannot pretend that you're in a cardboard box studio on some backlot in Memphis or Louisville or wherever, because it's just not there anymore. Okay, this is the third part. Sun is rising. Sun is rising. The funny thing about the sound we're looking for on this record is that the guys who made the blues records and the sound they got that we love, they would actually have preferred to have had a modern recording studio. Sun is rising. Sun is rising. That's it.
Hello.
John Knowles has now got the record company fired up about Chris's new music, but he still has to persuade them that a double album is a good idea.
So when will they make a fucking decision then? It just seems to be going from one department to the other. Well, somebody's got to make a decision.
The way things are going, the phone bill's going to be more than the fucking recording cost. Oh, shit. I told you.
It's very clear the way the pop music actually fused with the riverboats and a lot of the black slave things from Senegal and West Africa. Or even more with rap and hip-hop. It's a lot more ethnic now than it ever was 20 years ago. Tamla Motown was based on gospel and blues fusion. But some of the rap stuff now is pure ethnic, without a doubt. I love it.
down there today, mate. It's a bit feisty today, I would say. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what to do.
What's the problem, mate?
I can't make this fit in that tune. We've done it 6 different ways. And which way do you want? I don't know. I'm just confused.
I know what I want. We haven't done it the way we want it to be yet. That's actually 7 different ways we've done it so far. It's the same way, it's just that the 7 ways haven't worked.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I've tried to strip it back to try and get some sort of one of these riffs we keep talking about, but I've no reference point for it.
Tommy, we won't be at lunch. Tell everybody else can have it.
And I think he's a bit impatient sometimes because he's got it in his head. When he comes to the studio, he wants it straight away. So that's when he gets a bit frustrated and gets a bit wound up. But after all he's been through with the damage of the operations, he's definitely got a license to sing the blues.
The funny thing is, I never wanted to be a singer. It was an accident. One night a recording company came to see the band I was in. Because I was the writer, I was the only one who knew the words for the new songs. She shines a light where... So that night, they forced me to sing. And the next day, the deal was a recording contract only if I was the singer. So I took the chance. She understands what makes me smile and lets me know that without showing. I need to tell her, need to show her how deep she goes. I would like a higher voice. I do sometimes write some songs that have very high catchy chorus lines. And although they're in my head, I can't get them out. The thing is, my voice is a trombone, not a trumpet. And it never will be. And rings out the loudest bell with whispered words that scream out.
Chris is a total perfectionist, and what he wants to do is he wants to play them everything. He doesn't want to play them 1 track, 2 tracks or 3 tracks. He wants them to hear the whole lot as a piece. And I can understand where he's coming from. He wants them to understand the whole project. It's the blues, you know, going from state to state in America, and he wants them to get the story. But it isn't doing me any fucking good whatsoever, because they want to hear bits and I can't play them bits.
The 8s. Da, 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 da. It's always 8. The piano will be da, da, da. Dig in. Dig in. Lots of attitude.